Do you consider yourself having had a makeover?
No.
What do you consider? How would you describe what has happened?
It's a good question. I think what has happened is slowly over time, I've accumulated more pieces, which I think maybe to an outsider look like I've had a makeover.
But you have changed your image in the past 5 years that we've known each other quite drastically, I think. And so I want to talk through like how you did it, because I think a lot of people are in this place where they're not happy with how they look or how they're dressing, and it's very hard to like get started and like actually buy things and make changes and know where to go.
Yeah.
And if you want to give some insight into like where you were at, how you were thinking about your clothing when we met, and like any further like cultural background or whatever, that might be helpful.
Yeah.
About your starting point.
Yeah. So the photos that you're showing, I think, of when we met specifically are kind of around like the last time I redid my wardrobe.
Yeah.
Where I was really like, I hate to use this word because it actually fits the era for me, but I was like optimizing for like speed and efficiency in a way, because I was living in New Jersey. I had a 2-hour commute to New York every single day, there and back. And I was waking up at like 6 a.m. to get to work on time. So my whole thought process around creating my wardrobe at the time was like, I want something that's going to look like halfway decent. I will fit in with the other people I work with. I was at a startup at the time. And I need to not have to think about it. So I bought like 8 pairs of the same black jeans from Gap. I had a bunch of t-shirts that just like fit fine. And sometimes I'd wear an overshirt. Yeah, I don't know. It was just kind of a look born out of convenience more than anything.
It was also a function of like you were sort of still just starting out your professional career.
Yes.
You hadn't had a lot of like flexible income to spend.
I didn't have enough money to pay for the apartment that I was living in.
Yeah.
So I wasn't about to go redo my whole wardrobe.
Yeah. Then when did you start feeling like you were unhappy with what you were wearing?
Probably around the time you and I met, I think. Because I was coming out of that startup job and we met at Marvel. I was coming into Marvel as like a manager. I was going from being like lowest person on the totem pole to like now I'm managing somebody.
Yeah.
And I felt like I needed to look a little bit more presentable. I don't know. I just started to feel like the time for that wardrobe had passed and I needed to move on.
Yeah. I know you also want to clean out your closet a little bit.
Yeah.
Because there's some stuff still to get rid of. I think there might be some stuff from that era, but most of it I think has already been completely worn out.
Yeah.
There was, I think actually when we moved into this apartment, which was in 2020, you had clothing that was like falling off of your body. Yeah. Which I was actually really impressed by because I didn't know that many people who were wearing clothing to the point of failure is what I would call it. So part of the impetus was like, I think you were still holding on to them very tightly, but part of the impetus was like you literally were running out of clothes that were in good enough shape to wear. Yeah. I do think you kind of pushed your timeline to the very possible last minute. Yeah. I was constantly needing to bring my black jeans from Gap in for repair because I was blowing out the crotch constantly. Yeah. It was like after the pandemic had because we were in person in the store. So I would say 2022. Yeah, probably. And that's when you sort of bought your first round of clothes while we were together. Mm-hmm. And we went to Gap and we went to Goo. Yeah, Goo also, yeah. Which is funny. So Goo is a sister store of Uniqlo. It's very, very popular in Japan. Yeah. And I think it's actually called GU, but you and I like to call it Goo. Sorry, it is GU. I'm so used to saying Goo. We call it Goo because it's funny. I'm sorry, it's GU. Oh my God, I didn't catch that. And they opened a brick and mortar in New York, which I think at the time, and maybe to this point, is still the only brick and mortar in the US. Yeah, it was their first US store definitely when it opened. Yeah. And so we were kind of like... It was really tiny. Yeah, it was small. And we were kind of like, oh, let's go check out this new store. Prices, very low. Yeah. Rock bottom. Very, very low. But like Uniqlo, they're like... It's like a little younger, but it's like also a little trendier, I would say, sometimes. Yeah. I mean, Uniqlo can be trendy, but... I think you were like, oh, there's this store with all these fun pieces and each of the pieces is like $20 to $30. Right. It's a low gamble. Right. It felt for you, you're like, okay, if I have to buy new clothes, I'm going to buy them here.
That was the first step onto the plank.
I think so. Absolutely.
Because a lot of that purchase, I remember it very vividly, and I remember it because I have all of them.
You have, yeah. Can you bring them out?
Let's see. It's like all pants.
Are these all GU?
Yeah. These are all from GU.
Yeah. So you got a couple pairs of styles.
Yeah, I got a couple different styles.
And this is like the classic, like, I'm not letting my boyfriend wear skinny jeans anymore. He has to wear wide leg.
Yeah.
But this is, I did not tell you what to buy, to be clear.
Yeah.
So you got these like kind of carpenter, or these are just easy pants.
Yeah.
A lot of the GU have elasticated.
Yeah. I forget what they're called, actually.
So GU, I mean, for all my skepticism.
Yeah.
You have, I think, almost all the pants you bought there, if not all of them.
I do. Yeah, I haven't gotten rid of any of them.
And you really like them.
Yeah. I wear them all occasionally.
Yes.
Along with all the other pants I own now.
Yeah.
I don't know. The biggest thing for all of this, and this is a conversation we could get into if you want to, or we could punt until later, but like, it's all cost.
Yeah.
Like, cost is the biggest thing. And for me, when I'm thinking about pants in particular, especially when I own that many pairs of pants, and that's not even all the pants I own.
Right.
Why would I be spending $100, $200 on a pair of pants I find at a thrift store when, you know, these look probably a little bit less good, but are just as serviceable?
Yeah.
You know?
Right. Yeah, I think that was like sort of the thing we came to a head about, which is my like spend hobby, like my expensive hobby is clothing and style and things adjacent to that. And you already had an expensive hobby.
Sure do.
Which is like cameras, which is very expensive, and just like generally technology. Yeah. And then video games, though that's like a business expense at this point for you.
Yeah.
But the cameras and other sort of tech is obviously a very expensive hobby. And you were like, I don't want to add another thing. It's not my, you're like, why would I do another one? It's not my interest. But you were, like to me, it was all going back to you being like, oh, I don't feel comfortable, or I don't feel like I have what I need to like go out to dinner or to like be in this environment. Yeah. And I was like, then you have to do something about that, because you can't just you can't just live your life like that. That was my opinion. But if you can do it without spending a bunch of money on clothes, because clothing can get very expensive very quickly,
then do it.
Then all the better.
And the amount of times these like $15 to $20 goo pants have gotten me through like a nice dinner or a nice evening or whatever, worth the price of admission.
Worth it.
IMO.
Yeah, you did get a lot of pants here.
Yeah.
And then we went to Japan for the first time. 2023, I think. Yeah. And so you wore these goo pants pretty much the whole trip, because it was September, but it was super, super hot.
Yeah, it was like 90 plus degrees every day with 90% humidity. Like literally the whole 2 weeks we were there.
And we didn't really go shopping. Oh, we went shopping just like for one single day that trip. Yeah. While we were in Tokyo. You bought a pair of sunglasses. Did you buy anything else? Do you remember?
I don't think so.
Do you have that pair of sunglasses?
I do, yeah. I can go get them.
Yeah. Everyone got sunglasses. It was at Kindle. Everyone got sunglasses except for me.
I got these. Will this work? Yeah. These like Gucci sunglasses that are like very big. Once again, big round head. So I tend to gravitate towards really big sunglasses if I can. I just think it's a good look.
Yeah, I think it's great.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of these sunglasses. I wear them all the time.
I also think like, I mean, you know my general feelings about style, but I think you have I think you balance feminine and masculine really well. And I think like you have the pretty big beard, and you have like, I was gonna say you're not that tall. He's 5'11". I thought when we started dating, I was like, you're about my height. He was like, no, I'm not. Yeah. But then you were even taller than you thought.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm 5'11". I have a beard.
You have a beard. You have like broad shoulders. And then I think, my personal love is when people are like, oh, but I'm gonna have a bob. I called it a fuckhouse bob yesterday, which he didn't like.
No, I love that.
Do you?
Yeah.
I think it needs to be a little bit blunter, but you know, with your bob and your big sunglasses and
Yeah, I always call them granny shades.
Oh, yeah.
They're just like, they're so like granny who grew up probably in like the 50s.
The 50s or 60s,
you know, like these are their shades.
Hung onto her shades. Yeah. That's cute.
That's exactly what I'm always after. And anytime, Percy can attest to this, anytime we're in any store and I see big lenses.
He's like, ooh, these are cute. These are nice. I'm like, time. Oh, really? Surprise.
Yeah, every single time. I went and grabbed these also.
Yeah, from Goo. And
also from Goo.
I've worn these in videos and people are like, where are these sunglasses from?
Oh, really?
Yeah, they're from Goo.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah, they were, I think, $5 and I love them.
This is just a big Goo ad.
Yeah, I didn't intend for that, but...
I gotta stop calling it Goo.
No, call it Goo. That way it's not an ad because they're going to be like, definitely,
please,
we do not want to work with you.
Keep my fake name out of your mouth.
Yeah.
So you...
Oh, yeah. Japan trip.
You bought a bunch of new stuff. We went to Japan. Did you feel like that was your first time in Japan?
Yeah.
Did you feel like, how were you feeling about style in general at that point? You were like, I don't want to keep doing this. Were you feeling influenced by what you saw there? Where was like your head at?
Yeah, well, a little bit of the latter. That trip, I think, was a little bit transformative in a way where I was like, wow, there are 100 million different versions of personal style that can exist. And I don't think I want to be a person who like turns up and turns out in that way.
Yeah.
But also, there is a halfway point between that and where I'm at now that I can reach.
Yeah.
That is like definitely attainable. But the problem, again, was the cost of it all. And every time we went into a store and looked at stuff, I was always like, I don't really want to spend this much money on this. Like,
and everything you always complain about this, whenever you go into a store, the things you like are like the most expensive things in the store.
I don't know why that is.
I know why it is. Because a lot of times expensive stuff is nice.
Yeah, I guess. But like specifically my aesthetic taste is always drawn to the thing that is for some reason $1,000. And I'm like, not happening.
Right.
So for me, it's been largely a question of finding pieces that I'm drawn to that are also kind of in a cost bracket that makes sense for me.
Yeah.
Which I know sounds kind of like reductive and simple, but is also an extremely difficult thing to do for me.
It is really hard. Well, it's hard for everyone, I think.
But it's taken me years to start to accumulate enough pieces to feel comfortable about stuff.
Yeah.
I will say there was one store that we went to in Japan on that first trip that I regretted not buying anything from. And then we went back on the new trip and I did buy some stuff.
Noid?
And I'm wearing the pants right now.
No ID?
No ID.
Why can't I?
I don't know. You love the phonetic
I want to say
pronunciation.
everything phonetically.
It's called No ID, but she calls it Noid. I got 2 things from them.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that later.
Right, we're not there in the timeline yet.
But anyway, yeah, first Japan trip. I just bought the sunglasses. So that was pretty much it.
I want to talk also about like having an aesthetic taste because I'm interested in how you even decided you had one or how you know what you like when you go into a store because I think people don't.
Yeah.
I think people just straight up don't. And I was actually always a little mystified about this when it came to you because I think of you as having a very specific artistic vision in life.
Yeah.
Because you have a lot of background as like a graphic designer. But I was like, obviously you have an interest in art and design, but it hadn't really trickled down to your wardrobe.
Yeah.
But I was like, I feel like you can leverage your knowledge of color and shape and...
Yeah.
So I thought, I was like, he has the ability, he just hasn't like activated it or is not willing to spend the time and money that you need to activate it, which is, this all takes time and money.
Yeah. I think you're right to mention, I think I have a little bit of a leg up. This is a thing I've talked to you about a lot over the years, is like, it's kind of the weird irony, I think, of me and the people who know me probably because of that graphic design and like photography background and just in general, like, you know, creative sense, I think. I have a very strong visual opinion, I think, about most things. And that having not applied to my fashion sense at all was always kind of the weird outlier. And I mean, you're right. It all came down to money and time. It was like, I didn't have the time or the money to want to focus on it at all until I could.
Yeah.
And at least personally, and this is, I think, where I can maybe be helpful, it's going to sound a little bit like heady, but I think of all creative and aesthetic work in my life as a series of inputs and outputs. This is not a new concept. This is what a lot of people think of. You know, you're talking about building Pinterests and, you know, scrolling through fashion TikTok and like getting a lot of inspiration that way. But I think also a lot of it just happens ambiently. And it's a question of the speed at which you want to accumulate that knowledge. So for you, when you're like actively sitting down and working on it, you're going to be much faster at it than I am just kind of hanging out in Shibuya and seeing people and being like, that's interesting. You know, because also when you're in Shibuya, at least for me, I wasn't always thinking like, that's a cool outfit, those are cool pants, that's a great jacket, I love that silhouette. It wasn't happening constantly, but it was happening sometimes, and it was happening enough where eventually when I started to actually sit down and think about what is my style going to look like, I had some touchstones of things that I had seen. So for me, it was really like more a sense of literal like years of input, like ambiently, until I got to a point where it was like, I will take a chance on this piece. I will buy this and add it to my wardrobe. I will take a chance on this. And it kind of became like a gradient from, 5 years ago to now in that way. So I think like really the best piece of advice I can give people, I guess, is just consider how long you want it to take. Like, do you want it to be immediate? That's not possible probably, but it'll at least be faster if you work harder at it, as with everything in life.
Yeah.
Versus, are you comfortable with it taking 5 years like it did for me? And
right.
I mean, I'm not even there all the way still. Like I still have more stuff I want to do. I kind of feel
like what we've discussed already is like phase 1.
Yeah.
And then I think post Japan was, and like post this haul that we went to GU to get is in my mind like kind of phase 2, because you like had your first kind of new wardrobe additions.
Yeah.
And then I think the start of like phase 3 was when we did our makeover video last year.
Yeah.
If you remember, I'll link it somewhere here, but we did a video where you were kind of like, okay, I want to take this a little bit more seriously. Because I've been telling you for years, when you want my help, come to me. I'm not going to drag you by the ear to the store.
Yeah.
I'm not interested in doing that.
Right.
But when you want more constructive help, or you want my kind of help, let me know, and I'm happy to film it for content and post it online. And obviously I am and continue to be well aware of your aesthetic eye, which I think is incredible, and also your ability to find great places to buy stuff. Thank you.
So at a certain point, it was like, okay, now it is time to do this.
Yeah. And so again, you can watch the video, but essentially what we did, similar to today, we sort of went through your closet. You got rid of some stuff that you just weren't wearing, didn't fit, whatever. And then we went shopping. We went to a whole bunch of stores in Lower Manhattan, of which there are so many in a very small area.
Yeah.
And I think you were like, this is, first of all too expensive. The only things to my memory that you bought were at Cotton. Yeah. One of which you're wearing today.
Wow. Look at that.
And
Check it out.
this and a sweater, I think?
Isn't this nice?
Cotton, which is, I think, a little bit like more middling in terms of price range, but still has like nice, interesting stuff. Oh my God, everything's falling down. And you like their stuff.
I love their stuff.
They're also, again, people are different. I don't mind when I go into a store and the store clerk is ignoring me, or even like maybe giving some attitude, because I'm like, that's just dumb. Like, that's a bad business model. But we went into a couple stores that were like not so friendly, and I think you are much more affected by that than I am. And so if there's any store owners out there listening, some people are like not so comfortable in the retail space and really do appreciate like very kind, warm customer service attitudes.
Yeah, we went into a couple places where you could tell that the clerks were like pissed that we were there. Like, not just like, oh, another customer,
I don't think they were pissed.
Like an upset Animal Crossing character.
They're too cool for school.
I know, and I think that is actually really a bummer.
Yeah.
I think that is actually going so far towards trying to be cool that you end up on the other end of being extremely uncool.
Yes.
And unlikable and uninteresting, and I don't want to be near you.
Right. Like, watch the new Superman.
Yeah. Go to Goo.
Go to
Goo and watch the new Superman. Listen to that Iggy Pop song.
Yeah, it's punk to be nice, actually.
Yeah.
And anyway, so that was actually a learning experience for me, because I didn't expect how much that would like affect your willingness to like stay in a store and try things on and buy. Yeah. So that was, I would say, like, honestly not super successful, but it was sort of like the opening gambit. Yeah,
well, also, again, talking about input and output, like, I saw a lot of things.
You saw a lot of things.
Over the course of that day, or 2 days, or however long it was, where I was like, I really love this. I think this would be great, but it's like a couple $100 too expensive for me, et cetera, et cetera. But still, having seen that stuff and recognizing that I think it would fit well in my wardrobe, or I think I would look good in it, or I tried it on and I actually did look good in it, becomes a thing that, you know, you just kind of pin into your head as like, if I see another thing that looks like this or feels like this and is more within my price range or is made out of different materials or something, then like maybe I'll pick it up.
Yeah, I think that input was really useful. And it also gave us a sense for like how much you were willing to spend and what you were willing to spend it on maybe.
Totally.
And then I think the next big break was when we went to Paris for my 30th birthday.
Yeah.
Which was November 2024. Mm-hmm. And I feel like you got some good pieces there. Should we pull them out? I see that jacket.
Yeah. The first thing I got in Paris was this, which is this like really cool, almost cropped, like, I don't even know, like jacket?
Plaid jacket. Yeah, it's Canadian.
It is Canadian. We never really figured out exactly where it was from or what was going on here, but I mean, it's cool. It feels great. It looks amazing. It fits over like sweaters and sweatshirts and stuff, which I think is also the more important thing. So especially while we were there in Paris and it was winter, it was really nice to
cold,
have something like made in Canada.
Right. It's unlined, but yeah, it's really nice. Ooh, I think the colors are beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah, and then I got this, which is a jacket from...
It's a Japanese jacket from...
Yeah, Moyuru.
Gaijin.
I tried it on and I loved it. It's got a really weird shape, and again, it's got this giant button on it, just the one, which I think is very funny.
Yeah, you were actually thinking about taking the button off, but I feel like the button's really grown on you.
Yeah, it has. And it has this like almost like pointy tails on the back, so it kind of curves up this way on the back, and it sits really in an interesting way. And the collar is floppy. I don't know. I love this thing.
I just think like the idea that you went from like not taking an interest in like style at all and then buying something like this and then you wore it like for the rest of the trip.
Yeah.
I was like, no one is doing that. No one that you can, it's so hard to capture black things on camera, but I was like, this man went from wearing skinny jeans and t-shirts every day to buying like an asymmetrical Japanese wool coat.
Yeah. I think those two pieces in particular, the plaid jacket and this, are like...
hero pieces?
In a way, I think they're hero pieces. I think in some ways they almost represent like different poles of the gradient of the for tent. Me. You know, because there is kind of like a real Americana bent to a lot of the things that I wear, I think.
Yeah.
And then I got this. You and I both got things from here.
Yes, I have mine too, which I love. People love. This store was amazing.
Bleu de Cocan. We both got things.
So yeah, we have these like kind of matching jackets. I also have bottoms that go with this.
Yeah.
Another sort of birthday present from that trip. From
Mine's real like wrinkly and fun.
Yeah, the thing I love about, and this is kind of the thing when we're talking about like stuff of quality. We went into a lot of very fancy stores in Paris, and sometimes it's like eye-wateringly expensive, even if the stuff is really nice. This guy, I thought like for what he had, the prices were reasonable. Not to say that they were cheap by any measure, but I'm just saying, this is the way I feel about like stuff that is made really well versus, no offense, but something from GU, is that like even rumpled, you threw this in your bag and you took it out, like it looks amazing. Yeah. And I think that's like the real signifier.
Yeah, it looks cool all the time.
It looks cool all the time. Yeah. It works really well. This is, I would say, also kind of this is like probably one of your best overshirts in my opinion. Yeah. So definitely worth the spend. But yeah, so this was the only new thing that you bought from that trip.
Yeah. One notable trend across the things that I've shown so far is that they are all fall-winter pieces. Yeah. Summer is still, I don't know what to do except, sweat through everything.
You and me both.
Yeah. But you and I on that trip in Paris went to so many stores.
Yeah, I was doing one of my favorite activities, which is to like build a Google Maps list of stores in different cities. So probably my most populated ones are New York, Paris, and Tokyo. And then I give those out to Patreon supporters. Yeah. But
Patreon.com/Persia, Berlin.
I think it's Persish.
Patreon.com/Persish is what I meant to say.
And I just think it's so interesting to see what's what stores are selling, what the price points are, what the vibe is, what the people like, who's in the stores. It just feels like, to me, it's like a sociological study of retail and even like a city's culture. So
but again, going back to input and output, for me that was an unbelievable amount of input in a very
so much input
short period of time. Because I mean, your favorite thing is going around to every single thrift store you can find. My favorite thing is street photography.
Right.
So
that's true. You were taking a lot of street photography photos.
I was just walking around with you to every single store and taking photos in between each store. And then when we got there, I would look at some stuff and see if anything appealed to me. And a lot of stuff didn't, again, because that's kind of the hit rate for me, is like I'm not buying stuff that frequently.
Yeah.
But occasionally I find something.
Yeah. There's a couple more things before I think we get to our most recent 2-month trip to Japan, which was our honeymoon.
Yeah.
We did get you some nicer pants.
Yeah.
2 of these I bought technically for myself.
Yeah, Percy keeps buying pants for herself and giving them to me.
They're like 3 sizes too big. I don't know why I like the pants and then I buy them and they just fit him way better than me. I think it's a sizing issue I have.
More cargo pants.
More cargo pants. These are nice. I think you should wear these more.
Yeah.
They're very heavy, though, for this season.
They are very heavy. That's why I'm not wearing them. I actually do wear them a lot, but again, too heavy.
Yeah, okay. Oh, they're Duluth trading. These are from 18 East. I got these secondhand. I think they're very cute on you.
Yeah, they look great.
And then 18 East is one of those stores that we went into, and they were kind of nasty.
Yeah.
So
I still won in the end. I don't even need you. I get their pants anyway.
Yeah, I mean, you can find 18 East on Grailed. You can find it secondhand a lot of different places. I do love their stuff. Yeah. I don't know why that guy was pissy. And then this is, again, 18 East.
Wait, hang on.
Yeah.
Can we put a pin in something?
Yeah.
Also, just to be clear, I've worked retail jobs. I've worked like food service jobs.
Yeah.
I understand being pissed and being at work.
Yes.
Just to be clear. Like, this is not me like boomer level being like, I demand.
Kids have no.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, I demand great service. It's literally like if you're asking me to spend $1,000.
Just like literally like a hi.
Just say hello when I walk in or something. Yeah, I don't know.
Let us know if you need anything.
Yeah.
I know, because, like the whole thing is that young people don't like to be talked to in stores.
Yeah.
So I guess maybe there's some confusion.
Yeah, maybe it's that. I don't know.
I think the thing is, here's the difference I would say. It doesn't bother me also at this point in my life. I think you can feel pressured by that sometimes, but literally just saying like hello and let us know if you need anything when I walk in is all I need. I think actually the thing that makes me a little bit more uncomfortable is when I've been looking around and then someone comes up and is like, can I help you with anything? Then I'm like, oh, I need to buy something or get out.
Right.
And I think that's different, but just like I don't know. We don't need to litigate this.
Yeah.
Anyway, you have
I did just want to make that point clear because I'm definitely not. I have been upset and serving popcorn to people at an AMC theaters, just to be clear.
You're on the side of the workers.
Yes.
Anyway, so you do have 2 pairs of pants from 18 East. I think Ratish.
I bought these from Ratish.
Yeah.
Yeah, I bought a couple of pairs of pants from Ratish, actually. The other ones are here.
And then these are another pair of pants that I bought for myself. These are Banana Republic, but I think these are very cute on you.
Yeah, I wore these yesterday.
Yeah. They're good summer pants. You should wear them.
Yeah, they're working.
33. Yeah, they're also big on you.
I bought these from Ratish as well. These are from Barina, Venezia.
Ratish has nice stuff.
Yeah. You don't like these.
I don't mind them.
But I bought them anyway.
They're very tapered.
Because I like them. They have like a real drop crotch thing going on.
They do have a drop crotch. I like drop crotch in Fantasyland, but I have trouble with it in this plane of reality.
But this is like one of the first pieces that I bought that you were like, I don't know about that. Yeah. And I was like, I'm going to get it anyway. And I wear them pretty constantly and I like them.
Yeah.
I think I look good in them.
So I feel like that was like kind of a second round of like nicer pants.
Yeah.
But a lot of these I say would like have themes that are from the Goo pants originally.
Yeah. While we're talking about stuff I bought from Ratish.
Oh yeah. So
I also got this.
This was before the Japan our most recent Japan trip.
It's like wild jacket. Very cool pattern.
Ratish just came to our house. If you don't know who Ratish is, it's just a friend of ours who does a lot of clothing resale, has amazing taste.
Go watch Percy's last video.
My last video.
Or is it 2 videos ago at this point?
Just my last video.
Yeah.
Give you a good idea of who Ratish is, but fabulously stylish individual.
Yeah. They just came over and they were like...
With like 2 suitcases.
Here's all my clothes.
And we had met them like a month before and they're like, oh, I'll come over. And we were with some clothes and we were like, sure.
Yeah.
So...
I bought some stuff.
A great person if you're... I guess, I don't know if they'll make house calls for anybody, but they're in New York. And then I would say your final form was kind of our last trip to Japan. We were there for 2 months.
I became a Super Saiyan. Yeah.
And we did spend a lot of it shopping.
Yeah.
So...
Because we were doing the same thing we did in Paris, right?
I was doing my survey.
You were shopping and I was taking photos.
And I just feel like in this last iteration, you have become a lot more self-sufficient in picking out pieces and knowing what you like and being like, I want to go here, I want to buy this.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so that's why I feel like it was worth it to make this video and sort of talk about like the butterfly coming out of the chrysalis, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. Talking about all of the input, this is where the output happened, really. You know, like all of these things that we just went through have happened over the course of like 4 years.
Yeah.
Right. And then the Japan trip this time around was like, not only do I have a better idea of the things I'm interested in and the price I'm willing to pay for them, but on top of that, there's this element of, I don't know when I'm going to come back here. This really is like a do it or never do it kind of scenario.
Yeah. Because you don't shop in any regular sense. Like you don't surf the web shopping. You don't go into stores idly.
Yeah.
So for you, it's like when you're there, and then
do or die.
Yeah. Everything else you've bought is just like for a wedding or like, something very specific that you need to buy something for.
Yeah. Which is why when we ended up at No ID again, just kind of by accident.
Yeah.
We just found it by accident. I remember we were walking by, I was like, oh, this is that store we went in. I regretted not buying something last time. Let's go in and see if there's anything this time. I was like, I'm gonna buy something.
Yeah.
Like I knew walking in, I was like, I'm gonna get something. I just don't know what it is. I just know that I really appreciate their aesthetic and their style, and the prices were right, if I recalled correctly. And we went in and I got these pants, and I got another thing which you don't love, but I bought anyway because I like it.
I want to do with the stuff from Japan, and obviously you can mix in your old stuff. I think I want you to put together some outfits.
Sure.
That you have been wearing.
Yeah.
I think I have to reset the camera, but this is the jacket.
Yeah. So this is from No ID as well. They had it in black and in white, which I thought was interesting.
Yeah.
But it's just like a big kind of drapey, flowy shirt.
Yeah.
Jacket.
Jacket.
Thing. Yeah.
I think for me, I like the short sleeves throw me off because I'm like, well, if you're cold, why would you want short sleeves? But in general, I think your temperature regulation is different than mine.
That's true. Yeah. But I really like the way it looks. Every time I wear it, I think it's really fun.
And now that I'm looking at it, it's kind of like the summery version of the coat you got.
Yes.
In France.
Exactly.
That's definitely a big tip. If you like something, build off of it.
Yeah. But yeah, I've only had this for a month and a half, but I've worn it a lot already. And it tends to go great with most of the other things that I own, which is nice.
Yeah. Okay, lookbook. We just got to move this down.
Sure.
Tell us about your inspiration behind this outfit.
Yeah, this outfit is fun because it's basically an outfit I built in Animal Crossing New Horizons in the year 2020. Animal Crossing New Horizons, incredible video game. Big fan of Animal Crossing. Big fan of the fashion by that team in particular. They are also known for making the Splatoon games, which have this like really cool streetwear aesthetic. So you can tell that the people behind both of those franchises have like a really great sense of style. And I really enjoyed building outfits in Animal Crossing. One of my earliest thoughts actually about redoing my whole wardrobe was to just build outfits in Animal Crossing, then find those pieces in real life.
Yeah.
And I had this one that I really was fixated on, which was this outfit. And it took me 5 years to find the pieces. So I'm glad I didn't really follow through with that initial idea. But yeah.
Everything is from Japan.
Everything is from Japan except for my socks.
Yes. The shirt we got at a thrift store.
Yes. This shirt.
Yes.
Yes. This is from a thrift store.
I think it is actually a Japanese shirt because the tag is in Japanese.
It is.
But everyone was asking us if we were from Minnesota.
Yeah, I'm not from Minnesota.
No connection to Minnesota. Never been there. Sorry.
This is a little shout out to my friends at MinMax, a great video game outlet. When I saw this, I was like, not only do I finally get the baseball shirt I've always been looking for, but also I can just shout out MinMax whenever I want.
Yeah.
There is one button missing up here, which I don't really care about because I'm never going to button it anyway. And it fits well. It's really, hot. It's not breathable at all, no. But whatever.
It's not breathable.
Under it, I'm wearing an undershirt I bought at a Family Mart. Also probably for really cheap. Maybe even more expensive than the baseball shirt, actually, now I'm thinking about it.
Yeah.
And then, what is the name of it? Quadro?
So this is a store that I walked into.
Yeah.
Kind of did a tour, and I was like, I think Brendan will really like this store because the price was like sort of analogous to Muji, and the quality seemed like the same, if not better.
Yeah.
And just like kind of like basics, but sometimes they were like a little bit more fun. And then these are the Patrick sneakers. We've talked about those in the last video.
Patrick.
And then
cool shoes.
The glasses.
The glasses, yeah. So we talked in your last video about how you got glasses as my honeymoon gift to you, and you returned the favor.
Yeah.
You got a honeymoon gift for me, which are these sunglasses.
Julius Optical.
Julius Tart Optical.
Julius Tart Optical.
Which are fun. They're fun glasses. I was really iffy about them because, again, just to reiterate, big round head, usually go for really large frames when I'm buying sunglasses, but...
these are pretty big, no?
I mean, they're big, but they're also...
They're not as big as you would usually go for.
Yeah, and they're, round. And round...
Round on round.
Round on round, not usually the move. And yet, here we are. I really like the way they look. They have kind of like a, 1960s, 1970s thing going on. A lot of people describe them as very John Lennon, which is not exactly what I'm going for, but...
The hair, I think, is part of it.
Yeah, I think the hair does a big thing. Also, everyone keeps saying I look like Kurt Cobain with this hair.
Yeah, you don't like that either.
I mean...
A lot of tragic musical artists.
Yeah. Anyway, this is the Animal Crossing outfit.
Yes.
I like it. It's really fun. It's fun to wear. I don't know if it looks good, but it's fun to wear, so whatever.
That's spice of life, baby.
Yeah, baby.
All right. Let's do more.
New outfit?
Yeah.
Okay.
I had Brendan add his orange bag because he wore this every day in Japan. And it was actually sent to us from Timbuktu very nicely. And we sent them some notes, but overall, you really, really like it.
I love this bag. I think it's amazing. I really love, orange as like the pop of color is always a fun choice.
I'm such a sucker for orange as a pop of color.
It's the only place where our fashion tastes align is orange as a pop of color. There's no other place where the Venn diagram overlaps. No, but we love this bag. I love it in particular. It was my camera bag and my everything bag pretty much the entire trip. I actually think it makes this outfit.
Yeah.
In a way.
Yeah.
Like this outfit is, should I take it off? This is what the outfit looks like with the bag. Let's start there. This is the other thing I got from Quadro. It's this really interesting kind of Hawaiian shirt with like a reverse. I don't even know how to describe it, but it feels like they almost stitched the entire fabric backwards, like inside out by accident or something. I really like the kind of faded look for it.
The thing also about this is you, for the whole time I've known you, refused to buy a short sleeve button down.
Yeah.
And this is the only short sleeve button down you own.
Yeah.
It looks great, and you really like it.
Yeah, it's cool.
But you struggle with them otherwise.
This is the outfit without the bag.
A bag is so important.
A bag is really important.
You do walk out the house without bags. Cool, because
sometimes.
You, I think, have like a real feeling of freedom when you don't have a bag.
Yeah.
And that you crave. But stylistically...
It looks better with the bag.
The bag does so much.
Yeah.
You've been wearing this outfit a lot.
Yeah.
And I think it also stands actually well without the...
Without the bag?
Without the bag.
I think so too. Yeah, no, I think it works. These are the pants from Noid.
No ID.
And then this shirt, this button down with these like great little embellishments.
Embroidery.
Yeah, I got from Kyoto. This was one of those pieces where I think we walked into a store. There are a lot of stores in Japan, and Kyoto specifically, I noticed, where it's like you walk in and there's like maybe 13 items of clothing that you can buy total. And we walked into a store and they had this. And I was like, Yeah, I'm gonna
I'll
get
take
that
it.
Immediately, like kind of no question.
Yeah, I think I got these pants from that store.
Did you?
Yeah, if it's that store where there was like a bunch of military.
Yes.
Yeah, so I think I got that. These.
Yeah, cool place. And they say it gets colder.
No.
You're bundled up now. Wait till it gets older.
Okay, but it's crazy to me that you're wearing this in the heat of summer, but you are.
Yeah. I wore this to a wedding shower the other day. We were in a room with like 40 people, and it was so hot, and I was sweating so much, and just standing next to the water cooler and just pouring water over and over again, and just downing entire mason jars of water while people came and talked to me, because there was no way I was leaving
your corner.
The corner with the water jug.
You could have walked to the corner with the AC.
Well, that's it, folks. Thanks so much for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Patreon.com/.
No, we have more to talk about. It's
PersiaVerlin.com.
Nope. Not at all.
Anyway.
Do you want to do... I feel like those 3 are good representations.
We should do the smock.
You want to do the smock?
Yeah, because I've actually never put this outfit together in its entirety. I just want to see if it works.
Yeah. This is, I think, we're still figuring it out.
Yeah, this is an outfit that I've been thinking about putting together, but haven't until literally this moment. I have no idea if it looks good or not, but I was just like, I think this might work.
So you got to show the back. This is a smock you got in Japan. I think it fits you very cool. It's very cool.
Is it all in frame?
Yeah.
You can see all the stitching?
Yeah. But it's certainly a more challenging fit. You also got the striped shirt, which I've been stealing.
Yeah.
But yeah, it might need some rumination.
Yeah.
For me, I don't like smocks because I find them hard to get on and get off.
Yeah, they're really annoying to put on and take off.
Which is like a pretty hard no for me, but I do think it looks very cool.
Yeah. I like it. I mean, I think the fit is cool. Yeah, I don't know. I just thought it was very nautical and very cool. And when I got this, I was like, I also want a striped shirt to go with it. And we got this Helly Hansen one.
Yeah. They call you Captain...
Oh, Captain. Captain what? Stick the landing.
No, I don't have it.
We tried, folks.
I couldn't decide what to say.
It's okay.
So tell me how
Captain Smock.
Okay. Oh. So tell me how you're feeling about where you are now with all your clothes.
How I'm feeling with all my clothes.
And your journey and your life and your look.
I feel like I have a lot of clothes, which is, I guess, a nice place to be. I feel very fortunate, very lucky in that regard. On the flip side, almost all of them are, again, built for early spring, fall, and winter.
And we have at least a month and a half more of hot weather.
Extremely hot weather, yeah. So, you know, in that regard, a little bit tough. Yeah. But like we said earlier, I'm just sweating through looks, and c'est la vie. I don't know.
We can work on it.
People say fashion is pain. And
that's true.
It's whatever. I'll deal with it.
It's not my ideal interpretation of fashion.
Yeah. But also, key point, bags. Get an orange bag.
Yeah. A little pop of color.
A little pop of color. Baby.
And a nice pair of sunglasses. Or a nice watch. You know, one nice accessory, it certainly goes a long way.
Yeah.
Do you have any other sort of general tips about people who are just starting out or maybe in the middle of the process? Like, what do you think was the most effective?
Yeah, I think really...
Besides me just, like, dragging you to stores over and over and over again. Yeah. I guess people can drag themselves to stores over and over and over again.
I think just give yourself a timeline. Like, how quickly do you want it done? You know? Like, I know when you're doing consulting services and stuff, that's one of the first questions you ask. Is like,
how long?
You know, how long do you want this entire process to take? And I think that's a hugely important thing. For me, I was very comfortable waiting a long time because as much as I didn't love the stuff that I had and the stuff that I was wearing, like, it was going to serve me just fine for a while if I wanted it to.
Yeah.
So it was okay to have kind of like this gradient approach into where I'm at now. And the work is still not done. I think even in these pieces, there are certain pieces among them that feel more emblematic of where I'd like to go over time. And that's cool. It's cool to have kind of like a lighthouse in the distance, you know, kind of directing me towards where I want to go. Keeping it nautical for my nautical outfit at the end.
And that's it from Captain Smock.
Yeah, me and Willem Dafoe are going to lose our minds together.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you. Of course. So cool to be back on youtube.com/It's Persia Verlin, the website, also the person.
I do have a website. It's just perciaverlin.com.
.gov, yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
You should put the real thing up every time I say that. Just so it doesn't confuse
Flashing.
anybody. Yeah.